Science helps us understand educational ideas better.
How so?
Well, take Hebbian plasticity, the idea that neurons that fire together wire together. Understanding that helps explain why things like consistent ethical practice or reflecting on moral choices might actually strengthen those neural pathways over time.
So it gives a kind of biological basis for why habit formation or consistent reflection matters in moral development.
Precisely. It helps us understand the underlying mechanism,
Okay. And bridge number 3.
the functional bridge. This is where neuroscience might expand or limit the kinds of learning activities that are suitable.
Expand or limit. How?
For example, if brain imaging showed a learner had difficulties processing subtle social cues, maybe related to activity in certain brain regions, then you wouldn't rely solely on, say, nuanced role-playing for moral lessons.
Right. You'd need to adapt, maybe add more explicit instruction on interpreting those cues.
Exactly. It helps tailor the method to the individual's neurobiology.
Makes sense. And the last one, the diagnostic bridge.
Yes, the diagnostic bridge. This involves mapping educational challenges back to neurophysiological patterns.
So, like, if a student consistently struggles with impulse control in ethical situations.
Right. Neuroscience might identify patterns of brain activity associated with that impulsivity. Now, crucially, it doesn't automatically tell you how to fix it.
But it gives the educator a deeper understanding.
Yes. It moves beyond just labeling behavior as bad and points towards underlying cognitive processes, which can then inform more targeted support strategies for moral reasoning.
So thinking about these 4 bridges gives us a much more nuanced way forward, moving past that old bridge too far idea.
Definitely. And it leads to this really interesting idea of needing, perhaps, new kinds of professionals.
Educational engineers or translators, people who can really bridge that gap between the lab and the classroom.
Exactly. Someone who understands both the neuroscience and the realities of moral education. Kind of like how Sesame Street famously used child development research.
We have you to make incredibly effective educational TV. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It shows that translation is possible with care and expertise.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, thinking about morality and learning?
Well, I think it means that connecting neuroscience and moral education is it's a journey. It needs real care. It needs to be inclusive.
You can't just grab any headline about a brain-based solution
Yeah.
for teaching ethics.
No, absolutely not. But you also can't just dismiss the potential of neuroscience out of hand either.
It's finding that balance.
So,
And as Professor Park really emphasizes in the paper, it requires deep philosophical thinking alongside the science.
that's key. Science can describe the brain's workings, how moral decisions might happen physically.
But can that physical description ever fully capture or explain something as rich and complex as human morality?
Or is there always going to be that gap between the scientific is how the brain works and the ethical ought how we should act?
That feels like the crucial question to leave people with, something to really mull over.